What's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Welcome back. Hope everyone's having a good day. Got a lot to cover in today's episode, including all the wild Terra Luna Classic news and price updates. Give you my take on that, plus some Algorand news, plus some Chain XCN news. That's a coin I haven't covered in a while, so don't forget, hit the like and subscribe button. Follow me on Twitter at bencryptoshow, and let's just dive right in here. So the big news of the day, or of the week, Terra Luna Classic, and there's a couple sort of unrelated stories, both big stories, but completely unrelated. So Terra Luna Classic is just dominating the headlines these days. The first story is the burn. So as I mentioned before, there's a 1.2% burn on all transactions that goes back to the Terra Luna ecosystem for them to fund expenses, that sort of stuff. Now, anytime you send a payment on the Terra blockchain, the 1.2% is automatically taken out. But with exchanges, a lot of the exchanges have said no, they're not going to implement the 1.2% trade on actual, the 1.2% fee on actual trades, future or spot, because that's basically just coming out of their revenues. But they said they will implement the 1.2% fee on deposits and withdrawals. But they changed their mind, or Binance, the big one, they changed their mind. They decided they are going to implement the 1.2% fee on trades as well as deposits and withdrawals. It's big news. There's CZ, and as a result, the coin shot up like a cannon today, up 48%. It's ridiculous. Look at this here. I mean, honestly, in my opinion, this is just good, this is just savvy sort of marketing or whatever by the Terra Luna Classic community. They are pretty much the most diehard, biggest retail community in crypto by far right now. So Binance was in a lose-lose situation here. If you give in to the 1.2% fee, you appease the most important retail community in crypto, which is very important to Binance, but of course you lose 1.2% of revenues. Then again, you have every right to say no, and then you can just keep the extra revenue for yourself. That's totally justified, but then you piss off extremely diehard and important retail community. So CZ was going back and forth, understandably, but he ultimately decided, let's go with the Terra Luna Classic community, and he is implementing the 1.2% tax, even though it's a loss in revenue to them. And the market, they were just on Twitter, they were celebrating like crazy. But yeah, 48% of the market reacted wildly. So now you can probably expect all the other exchanges will follow suit now that CZ is the first one to make this decision, and I would just expect these prices to just keep going up. I know MEXC, they were kind of waffling back and forth in the last few weeks. I'd expect them to change their minds, and I'm not sure which other exchanges. I want to say Huobi maybe, or there are definitely some other big ones. I expect them all to sort of kind of copy CZ's decision here, so I'm very bullish in Terra Luna Classic this week. Now, the other big story, equally big, if not bigger, and totally unrelated, is the Kwon story. You may have seen a bunch of headlines here, like the big headlines. New York Times, this is the headline here, towards the front page, or front page of the business section. Interpol issues a red notice for South Korean crypto founder Kwon. BBC, same thing. Interpol arrest warrant. Bloomberg, CNBC. So this is huge news internationally. And I guess Interpol, that's sort of like the international kind of version of, I don't know, FBI or whatnot. They put out a red alert, meaning anytime basically they're looking to nab him if he'd crossed the border into like 186 countries out of the 200 and something that total exist, then they will stop him at the border and he will be arrested. So that's big news. They're not sure. They think he might be in Singapore. They're still not sure. And then the weird part is throughout all this, Kwon is like tweeting all of today. So these are huge stories. New York Times, they're acting like they don't know where he is, but Kwon is just fully active on Twitter. Right here, he's saying shitposting is not a career. He's saying he's a bit short on coins. He made some comment about programming. Twitter Greg was getting into the act here. He was commenting back. There was even a fake Kwon account on Twitter here claiming that Kwon was arrested by Interpol attempting to cross the border to North Korea. Fake Kwon account with 33,000 followers. So the Twitter action was just wild. It just goes to show there's, the life on Twitter versus life in the real world. It is just two different like planets essentially. Still, nobody really knows where Kwon is, and no one really knows officially what crime he's being charged with. That's what I'm wondering right here. Everyone else is just like, where is he? I want to know what he is being charged with. They want to speak with him and 5 other associates. That's key. That's basically the whole executive team about an alleged violation of capital markets law. But the other details remain unclear, so no one really knows I guess the question is it kind of more of a smaller thing? Is it like, okay, the coin imploded, so they have to kind of nail them on something, so some sort of failed to safeguard investment assets, investor assets? Is it something more minor like that, or is it something bigger like, misappropriation of investor funds, or something, artificially trying to inflate the token price, something like that? Obviously, violation of capital markets law. That might be one of the latter two reasons, but we just don't know. We just don't. No, one key point here is Terraform. They never raised any money from retail investors. That's key. They raised a total $200 million from big investment firms like, Galaxy Digital. They were involved in it. Binance got into it. So that's kind of lucky for Terra's. So if they had raised a lot of money, even though a lot of retail traders got wrecked, they didn't actually raise money from retail investors initially, then they would be probably in far more trouble. So it's really tough to say, but the South Korean authority, they did issue the arrest warrant pretty quickly. I think it was like 5-6 weeks after they raided the Terra offices in Seoul. So it appears they definitely found something. We just don't know if it's something really big or something smaller to just kind of tie something to him. We shall see. That will definitely be a developing story. Moving on, Chain XCN. I covered this coin a couple months ago. They came out in March. So there's another coin that came out at just the worst possible time, March 2022. Any coin that came out March to May, it just wasn't really that good. That was kind of the length of the bear market right there. But this chart isn't really that good. It isn't really that bad. See, the price appears to have stayed kind of the same over the bear market. It hasn't gone down. Some rises, some falls, but it's been pretty steady, which is pretty good. They just announced a new partnership with the New England Patriots, the football team, and the New England Revolution. They both share the same stadium, Foxborough, Massachusetts, outside Boston. So it's a multi-year partnership. They didn't give a price, but it's with Craft Sports and Entertainment. Presumably, it is to have the name and logo Chain XCN sort of splashed all around the stadium for football and soccer games. Possibly with, maybe Chain XCN, maybe their wallet being the payment method wallet for anyone using, crypto payments to buy stuff at the stadium. I don't know, some sort of standard crypto sports partnership. The coin reacted pretty good. I think it was up like 25% on the day, almost immediately. I mean, this is the Patriots' big team here. This isn't like some smaller team or some, minor league team. This is the big leagues here. And then it kept going up after that. Giving up a few of the gains, but still looking pretty good. So Chain, that might be one of those kind of quiet coins to watch going forward. They have survived the bear market and then some. It's pretty good. Then going along with that, so Boston Blockchain Week, that was last week, a very good event, as I mentioned. A lot of the projects are in the Algorand ecosystem. Algorand is a Boston-based blockchain as opposed to most of the blockchains, which have a lot of Silicon Valley ties. That's not the case with Algorand. They performed great. This is the 1 month chart here. So this is like the 1 week last week, and a few days before then there's like the 10-day period leading up to the conference, and as predicted, it's gone up big time, about 30%. So it's up about 30% in the last 2 weeks, far outperforming the market. That is not a surprise. A lot of times at the medium, small conferences where one big blockchain sponsors them, we see these price movements as opposed to like Consensus where it's 100 different coins sponsor and they each kind of get lost in the shuffle. Announcements get buried with all the other announcements from different projects. So just to kind of wrap up all the announcements that Algorand made over the week, I already mentioned this one here, their big one. They hired a new CMO, Michelle Quintaglia. She was the Visa Chief of Communications, so pretty high up. So that was a very good hire there. The market reacted favorably. Also, the company Napster, like the old school Napster, that's the Boston company, they're in the Algorand ecosystem. Most people probably don't know that. They just hired the former Roblox music chief. Roblox, it's like a gaming metaverse company with music elements, apparently. They just hired him as the new CEO there. John Vazopoulos, it looks like, who's the global VP and global head of music at Roblox. So that was also a good development. And then Anthony Scaramucci, he's a big Algo fan. He's tweeting about Algo a lot. I'm not sure if he's an investor in it. His company, Skybridge Capital, I don't see them on the Crunchbase investment list for all the companies that have invested in Algorand, but he's got to have some sort of relationship with them because he is a huge fan. He's always tweeting about them. He goes to conferences. He was on this kid's show here, JT Invests in You. He's an Algorand governor, so pretty good. Kind of a sort of a medium-sized influencer. We got Anthony Scaramucci on his show on Friday. Big, very big. So Scaramucci, obviously, that's bullish. And then this guy here, he's also an Algorand fan. Kristen Auger Hansen. The name probably is a little familiar to you. In the last couple weeks, you don't know where. This was the guy who had the night out, the kind of beef with the Avalanche lawyer a couple weeks ago that ended with recorded conversations, and essentially the Avalanche's lawyer, basically his career being ruined instantaneously in one night. That was the work of this guy right here. He's a badass. Do not mess with this guy here, but he's a huge Algorand fan. He's a venture capitalist. At one point, he had a net worth of $2.5 billion, very successful. He's from Norway. So he's got Algorand splashed all over his profile. Here, I'm not sure if he's an investor or not, but he sort of fits the Anthony Scaramucci profile. So Algorand, they're getting a lot of big names, sort of, I want to say quietly involved, and more very, very vocally involved with them. Scaramucci and Auger Hansen are not afraid to kind of give their shout-outs on Twitter and their sole loyalty to Algorand. So I'm massively bullish. Obviously, the World Cup partnership, that's coming up in November 20th. The World Cup starts, a 30-day event. So that's another bullish thing. This isn't just one game like the Super Bowl that happens one day in a sponsorship. This is a 30-day event where Algorand's the lead crypto sponsor, so you'll be seeing their name and logo splashed all around arenas for 30 days straight. Massively bullish right there. And then in the last couple days, Algorand just launched their FIFA Plus Collect, sort of like the NFT marketplace for all things FIFA World Cup. It's on the Algorand ecosystem. It just launched on Friday, I believe. This is the website here. Here's their Twitter page. So it's just lots and lots of developments going to the World Cup. Some of the developments related to that, some of them just related to an undervalued coin that has a lot of big supporters and people getting excited for it. Massively bullish myself on Algorand as well. That's it for today. I'll be back tomorrow with a new episode. Hope everyone enjoyed this one. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think about any of the coins projects I have mentioned. See everyone tomorrow. BenCrypto signing out. Later.